Welcome to the American Glutton Social Club, where we tell your stories in your words. Welcome to the American Glutton Social Club, where we share your stories. Today's story is from Mike. Hi, Mike. Okay, he says, like so many others, I had struggled with my weight since childhood. I was always chubby, but never really thought of myself differently than any of the other kids. That changed when we went to visit my grandparents for Christmas when I was 7, and my grandfather called me fatty. Wow, that's rough. I had some not so pleasant experiences with my grandparents, but none of them ever called me fatty.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Mike. He says, I spent the next 10 years gaining weight. During my junior year of high school, I lost about 50 pounds. That's awesome. On the Atkins diet, but quickly gained it all back after I got tired of eating bacon and cheese. By the way, that is literally my idea of the Atkins diet too. Bacon and cheese.
And macadamia nuts. I don't know why, but those were like really fatty nuts. And I had a lot of macadamia nuts on the Atkins diet.
But Paige, let's be honest, you went to Beverly Hills High and like you could afford macadamia nuts. I was not fancy and eating macadamia nuts. I was eating government cheese and Oscar Mayer bacon.
Yeah, I love that we're turning me into a rich Beverly Hills person. Not true.
Okay. All right.
Not
macadamia
true.
nuts. You were having
I'm pretty sure it was in my
nuts?
20s, but yeah, still.
Yeah. Dipped in like, I'm sure some kind of fancy imported olive oil. Just kidding. Okay. Bacon and cheese. I experimented with multiple diets over the next 20 years, all of which called for significant restriction of one food group or macronutrient. By the way, there's a really interesting study recently, and man, I think it's probably pretty irresponsible that I'm not directly citing it, but maybe people could just Google and look for it. There was a thing that talked about if you were in a greater than 500 calorie deficit, you would lose strength. And you know, strength, I'm sure strength is not such a necessity for everyone. It certainly doesn't have to be, but you know, I don't know. This was one of the things that I hated about these super restrictive diets, was just this feeling of lethargy and weakness and the loss of strength. And this is over time, meaning like your muscles are basically deteriorating. That always bummed me out. And that's basically one of my big beefs with the hugely restrictive diets, but also that the weight just comes back so fast.
Yeah.
In June of 2019, I was almost 300 pounds. I had gotten so heavy that when my daughter asked me to play on the floor with her, I couldn't. I was on blood pressure and anxiety medications and was very close to adding one for cholesterol. I knew I needed to make a change that would last a lifetime. I found a doctor who was willing to work with me, and I began making small changes such as walking every day and ordering smaller sized fast food. Those are great changes to make, by the way.
Yeah.
I do think about that a lot, Paige. Like, you know, these tiny little changes that can, over a long period of time, have a huge impact. And, you know, I think that if the change is so big that it's not something you could maintain, then that's harder. But like, just if you just went like, I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to radically change my life today, but I'm going to go from a large French fry to a medium French fry or a small French fry, and I'm going to make that a permanent alteration. That can be a super valid change, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. I lost about 20 pounds by November of 2019, but gained some back during the holidays. I went to CES in Las Vegas in January of 2020. I don't know what CES is.
CES is a convention. It's a global tech industry event. So people do exhibits. You probably learn about, all the people that are there from like literally IBM to Google to Oracle. It's a tech event.
Okay, great. So he went to this tech event. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I went to CES in Las Vegas in January of 2020, and I ate a little more than I should while I was there. American Glutton launched that same week. Yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
After listening to some of Ethan's stories on the first few episodes, I knew I could be successful. That's awesome.
That's so great.
I found a way to eat a little better while still enjoying the foods I loved. I began going to the gym and tracking calories. I could work in some pizza or burgers here and there, and I started seeing some real progress. When COVID shut everything down in March, specifically the gym, I don't know where he's going with this, but it was such a horrific, and obviously I feel a little bad putting it in these terms because clearly people died and many people had it far worse experiences with COVID and the lockdown than I did. I recognize that. For my life in my day-to-day, losing the gym was really tough.
Yeah.
I just am empathizing with what he's saying. You know, Mike, I totally get it. So I don't even know. What if he's like, it was a miracle. Thank God I lost the gym. Maybe not. He says, I knew I could use it as an excuse to go back to my previous lifestyle. Yes, that was like the, hey, everything's going to be brought to you by Postmates and Uber Eats. And the only thing that's open is fast food and grocery stores. Obviously you can get lots of healthy food at grocery stores, but like, watch TV all day so you're always notified of what's going on. And have you watched TV recently, Paige? It's like all food commercials and drugs. It's crazy.
It is crazy. I know. I just actually try not to.
I don't either. And I didn't when COVID happened. I happened to be in a hotel at some point for work and turned the TV on and was within 5 minutes, like, felt like a zombie from all the food and drug advertisements. And it's really wild. Like, do you remember when we were kids? And I guess it's during the Super Bowl now, they still talk about this, but like there was some creativity in commercials.
Yes.
I don't think that exists anymore. So
no, not on a regular basis.
Yeah. So he says, I knew I could use it as an excuse to go back to my previous lifestyle or use it as a chance to further fine-tune my diet and exercise. I chose the latter. Hooray for Mike.
Yeah.
He did it. I walked every day and did some body weight exercises a few days per week. By the end of June, I was under 200 pounds and made it to 170 by September. That's awesome. Since then, I've learned that while the scale is a good tool, it is just one data point. Once the gyms reopened, I began strength training. I also got into long distance running and will compete 2 half marathons over the next 3 weeks. Mike is a rock star.
Totally.
I can't thank Ethan enough for the impact he has had on my life through his podcast. Thank you very much, Mike. There is incredible value in the information that is shared and in learning from the experience of others. I completely agree. I think that the experience of others is incredibly helpful. And 2 half marathons, dude, that's amazing.
That's major.
Did Mike send a picture?
Yes. I want to share this with you now. Here are some before and after photos from Mike. Oops.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. You see that? Okay. I know, right?
Wow, Mike. Holy
so
not allowed to
awesome.
swear on YouTube. Holy smokes. That's just through COVID?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's what he talks about in his timing, right? Yeah. It's
Mike,
pretty amazing.
You crushed it, dude. You crushed it. That is badass.
So cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing. Amazing. And look, like, I just love, like, he's got a great smile in both photos. It like looks like Mike is a great guy. You know what I mean? But like, there's something about that smile in his after photo to me that just has like pride. I don't know. That's what I
It's
get
a
from
little
it.
extra. Yeah. It's a little
Yeah.
like I did something really cool that I set out to do.
Yeah.
I,
It's
I
awesome.
well done, Mike. That is awesome.
So great.
And I'm glad you're not, you know, miserable doing it. Like
Yeah.
life doesn't have to be miserable.
Yeah. I just want to say I am so touched by these stories that people are sharing. And I feel honestly like lucky that I get to hear these and read these, and you know what I mean? And it's just amazing. It's inspiring to me. It's just also so I don't know, it just makes me happy when someone else is achieving something, right? It's like, it's just, I don't know. I just, it's like a human connection or something, of like feeling connected to these people that I don't know Mike, but like, man, it's just, you know what I'm saying? I'm not being as eloquent as I could be. It's just really emotional.
I totally know what you're saying. And I actually think I had a conversation similar about this topic a little bit recently on the podcast. Maybe it was the one with Jared Aslet.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some scientific data that suggests that obesity is socially communicable, right? And so,
Mm.
like, if you are if somebody in your family becomes obese, your likelihood, if you're spending a lot of time with that person, the likelihood that you too will become obese skyrockets.
Wow.
And
Right.
so for me, the idea is like, and not to put some stigma on whether there's goodness or badness in obesity. Like, I'm not making this prescriptive. I'm just saying there was always a struggle for me. And so I like surrounding myself with people who have overcome the same thing I've overcome with, and to associate with them and to hear their stories and to know that it's possible. All of this, I think, bolsters the ability to maintain it, the ability to do it. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's like AA. You need to get sober, so go hang out with sober people, right? It's
Yeah.
like surround yourself with people doing this thing, listen to them, hear what they did that's
Mm-hmm.
workful, pick up stuff from it, figure stuff out for yourself. Like, I think it's super positive, and it's so damn helpful for me.
Mm-hmm.
you know
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
100%.
Mike.
So cool, Mike. Thank you.